song padathar kada search mode.
Yeah.
Nana.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Srikanth.
Is it okay now? Is it coming?
Yeah.
Song రావట్లేదా?
Yes, yes. Can you please turn on the camera if possible?
ఇగో
నాన్న.
ఏందాడు ఇది పోతుంది ఇది ఇది ఆన్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఇది జరిపితే ఇది వస్తుంది. ఓకే ఇది పోయినప్పుడు జరుగుతుంది అనుకో ఇది పోతుంది. ఓకేనా?
ఇప్పుడు క్లిక్ చేసి
క్లిక్ ఇది ఇది కనిపిస్తుంది చూడుకోండి అప్పుడు. ఓకేనా?
So now these are the people right now. People are working.
మ్యామ్ అట్లా చూడండి లైవ్
లింక్ పంపించా కదా వచ్చింది రైట్. ఓకే
Okay, sir. So Professor Sanjeev Manas will join at 10.
Okay.
So then we will start, and at 10:30 Dr. Sandeep Sanda will join for his lecture. Yes, sir.
So from your side, who is the other guy in join?
So I'll be there, and Professor Sanjeev Manas will be there, who is the chief investigator of EICT Academy. Only. So during this inauguration, can we you can at the time of inauguration, you can give us the visual of the audience sitting there.
అది కొంచెం డిలే ఉంది స్ట్రీమింగ్.
Toward the other side.
Yeah. Yes.
What's a good name?
So I am Saurabh. I am a program manager at Electronics and ICT Academy.
అప్డేట్ అవుతుంది.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
దించాడు కానీ ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ మీద పెట్టాను.
10-15
ఓకేనా? ఓకే ఇంకేమైనా చెప్పాలా? లైవ్ రన్ అవుతుంది సార్. రన్ అవుతుంది.
ఎంత డిలే ఉంది? లాస్ట్ టైం ఇచ్చేద్దాం ఏముంది.
వీడియో ఫోటో ఎవరు పెట్టచ్చు ఇలా కావాలి. Bro.
అసైన్మెంట్ చూసుకున్నారా? ఎలా చూస్తారని వస్తాయండి మనం చూసుకోరు. నెక్స్ట్ 27th ఇచ్చినట్టు డెడ్ లైన్ 7th ఇవి ఏబీసీలు ఇవ్వాలి. ఓన్లీ 5 క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చాను. కొంచెం పెద్దగా ఇచ్చాను కానీ అవి పెద్దగా ఉంటాయి. కొంచెం చదివి సమ్మరైజ్ చేసి మెయిన్ టాపిక్స్ ఇచ్చాను.
27 అందరి మీద పెట్టేదా?
The choir review was brutal.
We're going to be underwater for weeks.
I'm already so.
గర్ల్స్ ఇక్కడ కూర్చోండి ఎక్కువ ఇండియాస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు.
పవన్ పవన్
మరీ కలిసి వెళ్ళదు. ఓన్లీ 2 rows క్లీన్ చేసి కూర్చోండి. ముందుకి రావాలి. ఏసీ అంటే తగ్గించాలి.
ఏసీ ఆన్లోనే ఉన్నాయి.
2 points అని తగ్గించరా చదవస్తుంది.
తగ్గించాలా పెంచాలా? అంతకంటే తగ్గదు. 16లోనే ఉన్నాయి.
20
రిమోట్ ఎవరి దగ్గర ఉంది?
Yeah, I'm going to share one more thing. We are making some YouTube live.
సైలెంట్లో పెట్టేసాను.
ఏరోప్లేన్ మోడ్లో పెట్టు.
శామ్ గడ్ వేసిండు.
నేమ్ ఇస్ నాని. ఇది వాళ్ళు
నీదే, నీ ల్యాప్టాప్ నేను రీనేమ్ చేసాను.
చేంజ్ చేసి
దూల పెట్టాను.
ఎవరు చెప్పారు? అదే
సాంగ్ మీరేనా ఏమిటా అయితే ఏంటంటే అక్కడ అది అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మేడం ప్రే ఇక్కడ
లైబ్రరీ మ్యూట్ రాదా ఇది మ్యూట్ వెళ్ళదు వెళ్ళదు అదే ఫోన్ స్ట్రీమింగ్ అంటే
కీప్ అసైడ్
వెయిట్
Can we keep them for some time?
డిస్ప్లే షుడ్
ఏమైతే
అరే మరి ఇంకా చైర్స్ ఆర్డర్స్ ముందే పెట్టే వచ్చింది ఆరు ఇచ్చారు వాళ్ళ దగ్గర తీసుకుని మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళు తీసుకుంటారు టేబుల్ అలా చెప్పాలి అలా
Electronics. Rupees, right? Speaker, speaker. First of online, next to control services. Offline. 5 days.
this okay now? Yeah, I think he has admitted. He got admitted. Now ask him to see the
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Saurabh.
Hello, good morning, sir. So, yeah, so Kumar Swami, sir, can you please start? So these people are sitting offline there in the CMR Engineering College at their auditorium, sir. And we
Okay.
are to inaugurate this event. So, over to you, sir. Can you please start?
Yeah, once. We are starting.
A very good morning, everyone. A very good morning, everyone. I'm Samsundar, a student of CMR Engineering College from the Department of CSE AI/ML. It gives us immense pleasure and honor to extend a heartfelt invitation to each one of you to the Faculty Development Program on ML Applications for Academic and Industrial Research, hosted by the Department of CSE AI/ML with the support of Electronics and ICT Academy IIT Roorkee, an initiative of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. This FDP will serve as a platform for plenary speakers, keynote speakers, and invited experts to share their insights and experiences. Through enriching technical sessions, participants will gain valuable knowledge on leveraging machine learning to advance both academic and industrial research. CMR Engineering College, established in 2010, spans 10 acres and is affiliated with JNTU Hyderabad. It is AICTC approved and a UGC autonomous institution with Wi-Fi enabled infrastructure, modern labs, well-ventilated classrooms, and extensive libraries that foster learning and innovation. With an intake of 1,300 plus students, CMR-EC offers undergraduate programs in CSE, ECE, IT, AI and ML, data science, cybersecurity, AI and data science, along with postgraduate programs in VLSI system design and CSE. The college has earned prestigious recognitions, including a 5-star rating from the Institution Innovation Council, NIRF ranking, ATAL, ARIIA recognition, and a AAA rating by Career 360. It holds an All India rank of 20 among engineering institutions. With its academic excellence and a state-of-art facilities, CMR Engineering College proudly stands among the top 10 engineering colleges in Hyderabad. The CSE AI/ML program provide students with advanced knowledge in AI, ML, deep learning, analytics, and visualization technologies, enabling them to develop intelligent system, software, and applications. The core objective is to create efficient solution for complex problems through intelligent algorithms. Machine learning applications are widely used in predictive analytics, financial management, face and speech recognition, image processing, robotic optimization, and e-commerce recommendation system. These technologies enhance design making, automate processes, and optimize resource utilization, making AI and ML essential in solving real-world challenges across various industries. Let's warmly welcome our esteemed guests to the dais with a heartfelt round of applause. Beginning with Dr. A. Srinivasa Reddy, Sir, Principal of CMR Engineering College. Dr. M. Kumaraswamy, Sir, Convener and the Head of CSCML Department. Dr. C. Shamsundar, Sir, Co-Convener and Dean R&D, CMREC. Dr. Shiv Kumar, Sir, Head of CSE Department. Dr. M. Lakshmana, Sir, Head of Data Science Department. Dr. Ashwita Reddy, Ma'am, Head of Cybersecurity Department. Dr. Madhavi Pingali, Ma'am, Head of IT Department. Light symbolizes knowledge and prosperity, dispelling darkness like the sun. To mark this auspicious occasion, I invite our dignitaries to step forward and commence lamp lighting ceremony. I request everyone to acknowledge and honor the lamp. I request Dr. Madhavi Pingali, Ma'am, the Head of IT Department, to come onto the dais.
कमलसुलोचनि विमलततातिनि मरालगामिनि करिहरमादे बिम्बा आनन विधुमण्डले चन्दन कुङ्कुम सङ्कलिता परिमल कस्तूरि तिलकदरे जाजिसेया कचकुच गण जगनम्बो जमरालगामिनि करिहरमादे बिम्बा आनन विधुमण्डलरे विधुमण्डलरे
I now extend the floor to Dr. A. Srinivasa Reddy sir, Principal of CMREC, to offer his welcome address and opening remarks.
Very good morning, one and all. I warmly welcome each and every individual, the dignitaries on the dais over here, and all the distinguished professors, speakers, and the program coordinator, Professor Sanjeev Manas sir, and as well as the today's other eminent speaker, Dr. Sandeep Singh sir from IIT Roorkee. All the fellow colleagues over here and the participants. It's a golden opportunity for us to have such a wonderful collaboration, and in its collaboration program, that too just for the development of faculty. I think it is in its series. Of course, we have been doing from NIT, with the support of NIT Warangal and as well as IIT Bombay and many other premier institutions. But it's a very fortunate thing to have this particular collaboration with the IIT Roorkee. Of course, we are very much thankful to Professor Sanjeev Manas sir for his kind support. And I also congratulate Dr. Kumaraswamy, who is a program coordinator, convener, and co-convener Dr. Shyam Sundar for their efforts in making this particular FDP a reality. You are all well aware the trends have been changing day to day, and I think very fortunate thing after our NEP 2020, we are also, across India I would like to say, we are also able to pick up with all the trendy technologies which are really changing the face of the nation. Thus, I think we being the educational institutions, we must be prepared by having what you call it as, say, this skilling. Of course, most of us, we would have been studying many other conventional technologies for the years together. I think in this decade and this particular era is an Indian era, because, see, you would have seen the centuries like where all other countries are excelled, but I think this particular 21st century, it is the century for Indians, and India as one of the renowned country across the world, because we have ample resources. First and foremost thing is our 60% of the population is youth, and I think whatever the kind of say development that you take up, you need human resource. It is not that we are believing to develop our own resource for our own development, but also our Honorable Prime Minister is saying, of course, Vishwaguru. I mean, if you want to become Vishwaguru, you should be able to not only teach yourself and learn on yourself, you should also be able to teach the world. So I think you have seen the best example. We could able to help the entire world and many nations during the COVID. The same way we are hoping by really excelling on ourselves and extending our helping hand to the world, we all should excel. I think here the teachers will stand forefront. So all the teachers, you should understand one thing, like this unlearn, relearn. It is something like a relearning into especially the advanced technologies very much needed in catching up the wonderful opportunities that are coming up due to these technologies like AI and machine learning. Now, you just take any area of development in engineering, of course, it is definitely having intervention of this AI and machine learning. So, with these few words, I know you are all engineers. You know the importance of the engineers. Engineers make the world, but before making the world the best, we should make our own institution, our own nation the best. For that, you all should dedicate yourself and you should participate keenly into this faculty development where something like not by ordinary process. Whomever they are coming and delivering lectures, they are all say eminent professors from premier institutions. So recognizing that its importance, please take this opportunity and make use of say this opportunity for learning these advanced technologies. With this, I congratulate all the organizers and I wish you to have you wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. It's our honor to welcome Dr. Sanjeev Manas, sir, Chief Investigator at Electronics and ICT Academy, IIT Roorkee, and a distinguished professor in Electronics and Communication Engineering at IIT Roorkee. With over 18 years of research and teaching experience, his expertise spans semiconductor technologies, nanoscale transistors, neuromorphic computing, and CMOS reliability. He has authored 100+ research papers and holds 6 patents. Dr. Manas earned his PhD from De Montfort University, UK, and his MTech from IIT Madras. We are privileged to have him join us. Sir, we invite you to address the gathering virtually.
Yeah, so thank you for the introduction. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. And first of all, thank you for partnering with the EICT Academy IIT Roorkee to deliver this program on ML application for academic and research. Let me first of all also say warm welcome and good morning to all the participants and all the dignitaries present on the dais. Professor Reddy, Professor Kumaraswamy, Professor C. Samsundar, for coming together and putting a very nice program which is relevant and very pertinent for today's need and today's technology. I will briefly show you a few slides about EICT Academy IIT Roorkee, what our initiatives are and what we are trying to look forward to when we are doing these programs, and how, if anybody is interested in collaborating any other college or any other institute, how you can work together with the EICT Academy IIT Roorkee. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I think the course is covered by the very renowned experts. As was mentioned, we have experts from NITs, IITs, and other areas. The course is designed in such a way that it has a nice balance of both theoretical foundation in the form of lectures, but also at the same time we will also have hands-on, and this is meant to ensure that the pedagogy is followed in a way which focuses not only on foundational understanding but also the practical aspects to be covered in this program. Next, please. So here a few things I wanted to highlight is that why do we do these FTPs and what do we expect by doing these FTPs, because that's very crucial to understand that the need for knowledge upgradation and need for enhancing our own teaching capabilities and focusing on the right set of pedagogy methods and teaching learning practices is an important aspect of our teaching lives as well as our researchers in the institutes. We have to make sure that we stay updated with the latest. And in this particular initiative funded by MIT, we forward in doing programs and upskilling and upgrading the knowledge in electronics and ICT domain and many of the technologies which are now becoming very crucial, involving AI, machine learning, and those key areas of technology which are powered by AI, machine learning, including also IoT, edge computing, edge devices, cloud, and other engineering sectors where the new technologies are being introduced to ensure that the exposure to these technologies to the faculty members as well as the students is maintained, and the colleges and the institutes are able to upgrade and upskill the manpower as is required by the industry. So there are many benefits of these type of programs to audience in general, and also motivation for faculty members. It helps you to stay updated with emerging technologies, and also we do our in this program we lay emphasis on narrow down the gap between industry and academy, because all of us will feel that industries always look for manpower, or the industries look for those resource person and quality manpower in the areas which are relevant to the latest trend and demand and need. So we need to also make sure that we are providing that kind of skill set to our students so that they can become more hireable going forward in future. And in addition to that, you also get opportunity to foster innovative teaching learning methodologies, approaches, curriculum development, and collaboration and networking. So there are multiple array and multiple motivations for doing FTPs. Next slide. Yeah, so we expect the participants to be very, very active, engage with our experts, make this something which is more like interactive sessions where the learning can be maximum, because without interacting and without asking right set of questions, the learning is not very effective. And we also expect that you will basically attend sessions regularly and collaborate, also apply the learning to your own professional career and areas, and at the same time stay updated and tuned, because this kind of program for 40 hours, 5-day FDP or 7-day FTP is not enough to cover all the aspects of a topic. So in the end, we will expect that you will actually take this to next level through the further learning, further training, and further kind of exposure to these areas on your own, or collaborating with your peers, or you can even contact our experts here and they will be able to guide you even later. Next, please. So ultimately, what we are trying to achieve. So that's a very important question, and it is very important motivation for us to do, because working with the mighty government of India, as well as also looking at industry and also large set of colleges, we basically try to emphasize that our core objective is to ensure that the ultimate beneficiaries of this program are the graduates of your own institutions. And that can happen if the professors and the participants and the faculty, when they get exposure to areas like what we are doing here, our goal and our motivation and also our expectation is that the faculty members will be able to go back to their own classrooms and labs or their research careers and blend or implement the learning that you do in your own courses, or change some or other form of your curriculum, and make sure that what you learn here, or what you get exposure to, or what you get experience collaborating with your peers, the learning is ultimately transferred to the students. And we also encourage that you create some sort of new labs, introduce projects, collaborate with industry wherever possible, and to ultimately create an impact which is multiplying in nature. and ensuring that the graduates of your own institutions are upskilled, updated, and given training which is relevant for industry. So ultimately, we want to enable the faculty and participants become facilitators of a transformative education, and which will bring basically new learning, new areas, and new technologies exposure to the students, and also create learning and environment which is basically helping to facilitate advanced research as well as also exposure to the students as a whole. So if we do that, basically it will basically be very sort of beneficial, as well as it will be a great kind of achievement, because trying to create learning in sync with demands of the industry and needs of the society as a whole is an important aspect of any institute, and it is a core sort of goal of the institute. And if we can do it by such programs, we will think that our objectives have been met. Next, please. So in addition to this, we also will give you certificate at the end, and these certificates carry its own value. These certificates are something which are treated par with other QIP as well as AICT programs, and these can be used for supporting any kind of credentials, appraisals, and so on. But do want to make sure that the faculty are attending the programs, all said that they are actively involved to make sure that you get the certificate. Next, please. So one thing I want to highlight is about how you can collaborate with AICT Academy IIT Roorkee. If there is any other faculty member who is interested in their own institutions to work with us, we have this model in which we sign MOUs with the institute to develop programs and deliver program in hub and spoke model, and these programs are really something that will facilitate the greater collaboration and learning in the areas of emerging technologies. So you can contact us, and we will let you know the details for collaborating. And if you are already in touch with us, you can plan FDP. These FDPs are fully financially supported. We do not expect any financial burden or any kind of financial liability to be taken by the host institute. We just need support in terms of participant and your facilities for conducting hands-on. And all the kind of resources that we use in terms of your facility and other experts and anything that you put together. For that, we have all the payment components, and they're all financially supported. So we just need your active participation and plan for activities. Next, please. So this slide shows you the further other faculty development programs that we have planned up until March. And if you are interested, you can visit our website, and you'll be able to see in greater details these programs as well as what other activities that we are doing. And we do encourage and also request you to communicate or share it with your other colleagues and any other institutes. And you can actually partner in any one of these programs as a hub or spoke, and we'll be very happy to work with you. So we do look forward for maximum participation in these programs also, and take a look at these programs and see which is of your interest. These are programs which basically are mostly on all the emerging areas and of very important technologies which is relevant today. Next, please. So, Saurabh, can you please go to that slide where we talk about PGC programs? Yeah, so we do a variety of other programs also, and one of this program is called Advanced Certificate we basically through this PG certificate program what we are doing is actually offering a program of longer duration. So in addition to this FTP, which is only about 1 week, we do a program which is almost like 4 to 6 months long and a semester long program, and it offers advanced learning in a subject of matter. Next please. So right now we are having multiple PG certificate program. One is in electrical vehicle, another one is basically data science and data engineering, another one is in cloud computing and DevOps. And these programs are basically the program which give you a participants advanced exposure to areas of concern, and the programs are developed keeping in mind the needs of those learners who actually are looking to gain expertise and exposure to a new area with a very sound depth as well as exposure of the latest in happening in these areas. So those individuals, something like students as well as graduates, fresh graduates, working professionals, even faculty members are welcome to take this program. Next, please. So you can go to our social media pages. You will be able to see these programs, and the programs are as I mentioned, delivered by IIT professors and renowned experts from industry. And so you will be learning and interacting with professors the weekend and also in the evenings. And the learners will actually gain an expertise on their own and will be able to actually look for opportunities in the form of a job or next level of growth or transformation in the career. And the fees of this program is actually not very significant. We are only charging about 38,000 rupees. This is almost like 1/4 or 1/3 of the fees which you will find on similar tier program available elsewhere. These are all live interactive programs, and the professors will teach you the content which is about the same as they do in their own classes. So do take this opportunity and make good use of it. These programs are really put together with a lot of discussion and a very nice blend of theory and hands-on sessions, as well as right set of pedagogy is followed to ensure that we create good learning experience for the participants. So do share it with your students, particularly the graduates, and might looking at updating their knowledge and developing skills and looking for opportunity in the industry. As part of this program, we also provide mentoring for career development. We provide support. We give also accommodation, and we organize sessions. We explain for opportunities at job, etc. Next, please. Yeah. So in the end, I would like to thank all the participants and also wish you all the success for this program. And we also look forward to your feedback. And we want to ensure that the program standard and quality is maintained. I'm sure that you will also feel this by end of this program. And I wish you all the best, and also want to thank all the administration of CMR College for putting together this program. And we do look forward to many such programs in future also. Thank you. Over to you. If there are any questions, thank you.
No, sir. We are honored by your presence and your words. Thank you for addressing the gathering, sir. We look forward to Dr. M. Kumar Swamy, sir, Convener and Head of CSC AIML Department, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the FDP on ML applications for academic and industrial research. So let me start with principal, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence here. So respected principal, sir, and the principal investigator of this program, Dr. Sanjeev Manas from IIT Roorkee, and all other HODs who are available on the dais, deans, faculty members who are coming from the college and outside the college also, and even some of the students are also available in this campus. So now actually the program of FDP is divided into two major areas. The first one is lecture sessions, the other one is the like lab sessions. So we have divided all the lecture sessions during the morning hours. Immediately you can also see one of the lecture will be delivered by IIT Roorkee scientist. After that, after lunch, we have the lab sessions that will be handled through online. So we have taken care that all the offline sessions will be held during the morning hours, and the after lunch, the sessions will be held through the online mode. So these sessions is not going to be ended only at 4 o'clock. It will be continued till 7 o'clock. That means our start time starts at 9:30 a.m. and it ends at 7 o'clock. So only today there are some technical problems are there, for which we are trying to close till 5 o'clock. After that, the session will not be available. That means the session will be getting started at 1:30 and probably it will be completed by 5 o'clock. So next sessions, all the as I said just now, all the theory sessions or lectures will be held through offline mode, and the lab sessions are there through online mode. And there is one problem that on Sunday also we have the different types of sessions, and we are trying to conduct only through online mode. And what we have done is we have taken care that 40% of all the lectures are taken from the academia, including NITs, IIITs and IIT professors, and 50% we have considered from the industry. That means all the lectures will be held from the industry people, and we have taken care that there are 10% of the hands-on session will also be existed. Hopefully these sessions will enlighten the different kinds of areas, and so let us work on these ML problems so that our academic and industrial research will be carried out. Thank you very much. Thanks for one and all. So let us hopefully will take care of this particular FTP at the higher level. Thanks one and all.
Thank you, sir. With this, we'll step into session 1, and the session will be on overview of ML development processes and some real examples, for which I'd like to call Dr. Sandeep Sandar, sir, who is distinguished computer scientist specializing in machine learning, IoT, embedded systems, and data analytics. Holding a PhD from UCLA, he has worked with Amazon, ARM Research, and IBM, contributing to scalable AI solution and hyperparameter tuning frameworks. A dedicated mentor, he co-founded Simple Mind School to guide aspiring graduate students. His research spans reinforcement learning, time series forecasting, and healthcare application, earning him UCLA's Outstanding Mentorship Award. We are honored to have him with us today. Dr. Sandar, we invite you to deliver your lecture for session 1 virtually.
Hi, thank you for the warm introduction. I will share my screen and will proceed further with some interesting examples today. Give me just a few seconds. Okay, I hope you all can see me, and let me also go ahead and share my screen. Please let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You're audible and perfectly visible, my screen. Okay. So, hi everyone. So today I will try to give an introduction of the modern ML processes, what is happening in the industry, how we are creating these systems, and we'll also show some little simple hands-on. I think my goal is actually that you will be also be able to get access to the slides later on, so you can try some of these hands-on on your own by yourself. So I'll give a brief overview of my research. And this will kind of tell what kind of work I generally do, but then we'll try to dive deep into large language models. This is a field which is very much emerging, a lot of research opportunities, everybody kind of is working and talking about it, so we'll try to look a bit deeper into this. Then we'll try to talk about some working examples of LLMs, how industry uses them, like how Perplexity uses them, how Grammarly uses them, say. And I'll share with you a working notebook that how you can also use in the similar way. So let's get started. So in all of this, I know you are sitting probably in person. So if you have any questions, I'll try to give some 5 minutes in the end. And if intermediate there are any questions, maybe you can also speak up and I can stop there as well. So some of my research is used in production chips, like the smartphone IoT chips, which we all use today, billions of devices. They are designed by ARM. ARM uses Mango library to create these CPU designs, these billions of transistors for billions of devices. And this Mango library is based on my PhD research. So most of the devices like Xiaomi devices, Redmi devices, Samsung Galaxy devices, even iPhone devices, their chipsets are based on ARM CPUs. Other than these kind of things, I worked a lot on many different flavors of IoT for animal monitoring, wildlife monitoring, many small devices, energy harvesting devices, even satellite devices. So this has been published in so many papers, like small devices to track animals, underwater animals, or small earables like the earphones which you can put in ears, but you can run very state-of-the-art ML models even on those devices, which can monitor human stress, human heart rate, and so on. Or even inertial navigation in very constrained settings for very tiny devices. We also have done a very good amount of work in LLMs. Like recently, we released a version of LLM which is better than ChatGPT or Claude on coding benchmarks. So this is a much better coder. We often use these things internally in different industries, so that slowly there's a lot of effort to replace human coders with like a level of an automated LLMs. The most recent paper on LLM will just come in few days. This is a collaboration with NVIDIA, USC, and even Jan Lipin's group. So we try to advance in different directions. Today, let's again take a step back. Let's talk about a very fundamental level of LLM, but a simplified level. So I hope the audience probably is from a mixed background. So I'll try to avoid complex mathematics, but we'll still try to give a flavor that you are not hindered by mathematics to use these things. Even if you are a researcher in any domain, these things are very powerful and they are very easy to use. So we started in the 1950s with a rule-based system. These systems, I'll show some simple example, but these systems were very simplified chatbots, even in the 1950s. These rule-based systems were like simple heuristics. Slowly we came to a time of NLP, which is n-grams, TF-IDs. So understanding of human text has always been our passion for many years. So the LLMs have not just created in 1 year. We have created these systems since like many years, and over time we gradually advanced from these statistical NLPs, which are still even today used. They are used in even large scale industries. We later on moved to RNNs and LSTMs in like 2017 roughly, before the transformer revolution came. RNN and LSTMs are still used. They have their own challenges, but they still are very good models when you have to solve a very small scale problem. Transformer revolution happened roughly in 2017 with the first paper, and that's when we moved into even more further advanced, larger complex models, and it gave emerge to BERT, GPT, T5, all these backbones came in that era. So roughly like 1950s, ELIZA was the first chatbot. On Wikipedia I put a link, but there's a lot of documentation around it. It's a rule-based system. It can actually chat with humans, and most of the time, even that time, humans were very much attached to it. They will feel like that they are talking to another human. Even like it could talk like you can discuss personal things and it will respond back, and could create a genuine conversation. But this was all a rule-based, rule-matching system in the back end. From 1964 to today, in 2017, the attention paper came, and that's like at a different era. BOT came, GPT-1 came, T5, which is a Google backbone, came, and then present modern GPT-3, GPT-4, Llama, Mistral, Qwen, or DeepSeek, they all came like later. So this is a long journey which we took. On this long journey, why there is like so much hype around it? So for long, we wanted these models to be as good as human experts. So one of the fundamental questions which come is how to measure the accuracy of a model, right? How can we say that these models are better than human experts? So there are many benchmarks which are proposed in literature. I'll discuss a very simple benchmark just to give audience a flavor of it. So when we say that where do human experts stand versus where do large language models stand, right? So MMLU is a benchmark. It's a bit older benchmark, but it's very meaningful benchmark. One of the early ones which we created, like in research community. In this benchmark, there are 14,000 multiple choice questions and across many, many different subject areas, like 57 different subject areas. These are some of the sample questions. These are very much similar to how our IIT JEE papers look like, or how our multiple choice questions look like, say, in our different competitive exams. Like, it's kind of a question like when a ball is accelerating downwards at this speed. These are simplified to some extent, but there are different complexity level of questions in this. Or there's like a physics question, mathematics question, the different subject areas, and just one right answer. So it's a multiple choice. We created it as a multiple choice because it's very easy for us to benchmark. It's very easy. There's no subjectivity involved here. Now, if we say randomly select a choice, like random baseline on this, on an average we get 25% accuracy because there are 4 choices. So different models have different accuracy, like Robot, GPT-2, GPT-3. These models have roughly slightly better accuracy than 25. So this gives an idea. This was quite complex benchmark. Now came the GPT-3, right? This was the first variant of GPT-3. It also had roughly 40% accuracy, like you see on an average on all the subjects if you combine from STEM area, social sciences, humanities. So early models were 43% accurate, slightly better than 25. Now what happened over the time is this one. Like, so human expert on this, I would say human expert which is expert in STEM, or human expert which is expert in social science. Human expert in each of these subject area could get around 89-90% accuracy. So these models were far inferior to a human expert. But let us look at like what happened. Like GPT-3 was around 43%, and GPT-4 came, it suddenly bumped it to 88%, almost as good as human expert. And Llama, Quen, DeepSeek, R1 is like 90%. OpenAI O1 is like 91.8%. These are all numbers from the MMLU Wikipedia. Like, so many models are benchmarked here. But what is showing us that suddenly we started creating models which are beating human experts now on these complex tasks. Now this doesn't mean that they are beating human experts on everything, but this is showing us a promise that now we are entering an era where we actually can fine-tune these models on a particular subject area to be as good as human experts, or sometimes even beat human experts. So that kind of created many opportunities ahead for us in every domain, be it agriculture, farming, finance, healthcare. You can take any domain and you will see that automation agents being talked about in the industry. So many startups being created because of all this amazing expertise of these models. So let's take a little bit overview that how we create these models, right? And how we fine-tune these models. I'll try to show some working examples today within this short span of time. Goal is a little bit to create excitement in the audience also, and also to show them that this is something which is learnable, which all also can use in your research, in your own domains, or in your own use cases. So LLMs, large language models, like any neural network, they cannot understand word or text. So we have to convert them into smaller subunit of tokens, which are assigned numbers. Tokens are kind of assigned numbers. We have to do this for many reasons. We'll a little bit look at some examples also. But once we map into smaller units of numbers, then there is another neural network which we have trained, whose goal is to predict the next token, probability of the next word. The token is like the smallest unit here. Sometimes the words are also divided into multiple tokens. Given an input, predict the next word, and then we map that next word to the word space. So most of these models, like ChatGPT or all models, reasoning models, they predict the next word and we map it back. So they are the next word predictor models, and in this next word prediction itself, we can run this again and again. The predicted word can go input again, and you can create paragraphs, sentences. This is also the reason these models are slow, that because they go word by word prediction. Like they have to do sequential. Now, let me show at a high level. Simplified steps in creating AI always remain the same, no matter what we are talking about LLMs, or there are a lot of speakers later in the different parts of the sessions. You will see that they will talk about different areas. But at a high level, simplified steps in creating AI remain the same. You will always have to start with the data. In here, our data is lot of text data. But we always start with the data. We select the AI. Selection of AI means you select the complexity of the models you want to train. It can be a simplified heuristic-based models. It can be classical ML like SVM, random forest, or it can be a very complex neural network. And then we go through the training step of AI, in which using this data and the selected model, it's an optimization problem. We are going to minimize the loss, or we are going to maximize the accuracy. Loss and accuracy are mathematically defined for a particular problem. And then finally, we also test the AI to make sure that whatever we have developed, how is it going to do in the real world? All these steps are often done in industry or companies by different teams. there is a data team whose only goal is to go clean data, fetch the data, because LLMs needs like trillions of tokens. We are talking about the entire humanity data used to train these models. So these trillions of tokens, there are separate data teams. Selection of AI teams in the sense that the AI teams, AI experts, which are often creating neural networks, architectures, they support the infra side. Now, selection and training teams are often working very, very closely infra side, because we need sometimes even several hundreds to thousands of GPUs depending on the complexity of the models to train these. And then the testing teams are separate often. Now, it doesn't mean that the training team doesn't just test. They do, but there are testing teams as well, which kind of go through and make sure that the validation of the results is done very properly. Now, the textbook notations are sometimes different, like when we say usage of AI. So many times the LLMs are already created, you don't have to create it. Using them is also very similar. We have to again convert the data set into the same format, like the tokenized space, and then the function or the intelligence is already created for us. We select it and then we use it. When often the book notation is like X is the input, we go to the functional space, FX is the model being processed into input, and we get the output. I will in these slides ignore the notations and ignore many of the mathematical complexities which are not needed for us to understand the core concepts. Let's go back again to the LLMs. So those steps can be again mapped here. When we are using LLM, often we start with the data, we again have to process this so the model can understand it in the tokenized space. We again predict the next token and then we map it back. So those whole steps are again similarly mapped to LLMs. Let's look at an example. So all of these things is happening because they cannot understand words. So if a tokenization, for example, you give this past sentence and you want to predict the next word. When we tokenize it, this is the tokenization done by GPT-2 tokenizer. It will convert this DA into the AI class by, but IIT, it will break it down to 2 tokens. The algorithm which trains these and tokenizers and all is also another algorithm. This algorithm kind of combines the words which occur a lot of time in the literature. IIT occurred fewer times, so it break it down like I and IT occurred so many times, but Rootki occurred very few. It break it down to Rootki also into multiple words. And is a bit like is the same thing. But had you given my college here instead of IIT, my college would have stayed the same. Let me actually show this example to the audience, and I hope my screen kind of stays visible. Give me chance to just stop the sharing and open this example. Okay. So for the first example, okay. So this I generally often conduct a good hands-on during the lecture, but I think the audience here might not have access to their laptops as they're sitting in the slum. But let us kind of run this example to understand it at a high level. But I'll focus on some small points which I need to highlight. So GPT-2 model, this is a code. If you've never seen it, you don't have to worry. But using any AI is the same thing, that you have to kind of load some of the pre-trained models. Like this is where we are loading the pre-trained AI. This is a big model, so we are loading it on the cloud. It will take like few seconds to connect to the resources on the cloud, and we'll start loading it. Once we load it, this is the algorithm which kind of does the byte pair encoding, like the algorithm, the tokenization algorithm. Let's take a look at it. It will take a few more seconds for it to run and load. Let's also move forward. So finally, once you kind of run and load, this is like the input, for example, text. This is how it tokenizes, breaks it down like into different tokens, what you see, exploring GPT model and so on. All this like tokenization process breaks it down. It assigns these numbers. Now GPT-2 tokenization process is finite, like deterministic. So all these numbers of explore will always be the same. DA will always be the same, like 262 is always DA in GPT-2. Okay, the model is loaded. Let us run the next step. So let's coordinate it. GPT-2 has many different variants. Let us load a model also. Let's model a little bit larger variant of the model. Take some few seconds to load. Finally, the architecture of this model, I want to highlight that there's 74 million parameters in this model. It's amazingly highly complex model. But the generation of text is like same process. You give the model input, previous tokens, and ask it to generate the text. Now we are going to ask it to generate not one word, multiple words. For example, we can ask it to generate past text being artificial intelligence lectures or something, and we can tell it to generate the next words. The future of AI will be, we leave it here and tell it to generate the next words. Like in a remote city of Punjab, India, there's a far, far land, and we tell it to generate the next words. So these are like the input prompts. These are the prompts similar to what prompts you give to GPT kind of online, or you give it to DeepSeek, or you give it to Germany Cloud online, right? So let's give it a few more seconds to run. It's taking some time because this is a big model, and I'm asking it to generate say next few hundred words for us. Okay, like for the first prompt, it's now generating these words. Let's give it a few more seconds to run. So artificial intelligence lectures are a great way to learn. So what it is generating is, it's generating it from learning data. So this model is trained on roughly 40 GB of data, and that time we give it a lot of internet data, cleaned data, web pages, text, books, right? So whatever it learned as the next most probable word, that's what it's generating. That's what we see here, that the most probable words are getting generated. Now in these most probable words, this generation looks good, but it cannot do many things, and that's what something which we solved in ChatGPT 3. I'll highlight those things. So this generation looks amazingly good, but it cannot do few things now till yet. It can kind of generate the future words, it can talk about things, it can create sentences, its grammar is correct. The training of this, like I said, is done using 40 GB of data from web pages, textbooks, articles. Okay, let's again continue to the slides and move further. But the tokenization process, like I showed, breaks it down into these kind of tokens. Finally, once we break it down, like there's another demo which will let us skip, but this will show the breaking of this part itself. But once it breaks it down in this step, like I showed also through another notebook, we now tell it about the probability of the next part. So the AI class of my college is a bit different, of, more, like, weird. All of these words are correct in terms of they're equally good. Some words are given with high probability because those words exist more in nature. Like the AI class of my college is a bit different. The AI class of my college is a bit off. All of these words like have different probability and meaning, right? And then we map it back to the word space like you saw here. So finally, let me just summarize it. In this LLM simplified overview, we started with the tokenization process and we map the words back to the tokens, and we predict the probabilities of the next token. That's what the neural network is doing internally. It's just a magic of input numbers, it's predicting the next number and then mapping it back. And for example, given the input, we map it back to the next number. So end-to-end generation is a notebook which I just showed you. We skipped the previous demo notebook. So at a high level, these models are autoregressive models. So in literature, we tell them autoregressive. Autoregressive means that these models are predicting the next word in a sequence given the previous words. And they predict sequentially, one token at a time. So one token at a time is very important. This is something, one of the very core bottleneck of these models, that you predict one by one. You predict one token, you take it back as also input, you predict next token. So that's why when these models are going to generate, say, one paragraph or write 100 words, they take more time than writing few words because they do one by one. It's not parallel execution here. And then the prediction of future words for each word depend only on the previous token. So that's like very important here. There are certain models which we can create which can use even future tokens. I'll discuss a little bit. But the models which you see, the GPT variants, the Claude variants, the Gemini variants, they only use the previous tokens. This is very much important. These are the models which actually we can use now to do amazing things when you are not depending on. But these models uses the previous tokens and the after tokens as well, afterward as well. So these kind of models can be used, for example, to predict missing word in sentences, right? Because you have other words available, you want to predict the missing words and so on. And this is also like called masker language modeling instead of autoregressive language modeling. Okay, but these models are used like for classification, Q&A as well. So different industrial use cases are powered. We know, and then there are mixture of both of these, that we can actually train a model using both of these use cases, like both of these loss functions as well. This is the like showing you a complete architecture that what internally happens. So whenever, like for example, if you give it a word that I saw a cat on it, you give this as input to the model, translate it to the hidden dimension scale. This is already a trained model, and finally the prediction happens on all the vocabulary. For example, the GPT-2 vocabulary is about 50,000 words or 50,000 tokens. We predict which of the word or vocabulary is the best, and then we can sample from this, or we can take the best vocabulary, best word out. So for example, the best word out of is like ISO cat on a leash, which kind of have some probability. It's very small, it looks like, but still it's better than all other probabilities. Remember, this is in a 50,000 space. And this is the tokenized input. It looks like I saw a cat on a tokenized into different numbers. This numbers given as input, and we finally predict the next 50,000 space of vocabulary. What you see here, 50257 probabilities, and then we map it down, and that's what I'm showing you the top 5 probabilities, and they all are correct. Often companies sample from this, or they take the best probability. So like I saw cat on a leash, I saw cat on a street, I saw cat on a beach, all of these things, right? But in all of these things, we knew, and these things had existed for some time. Still, we could not solve certain things. So what was the change that which created ChatGPT, right? Let's take a look at that change. We had GPT-2 models, GPT-1, GPT-3 models even, but ChatGPT got created. The biggest challenge was that GPT-3 models, they could not follow human instructions. So like if you tell this model to answer in 2 words, you tell this model to explain this or that, it could not do that, because it will say answer in 2 words, and then it will talk about answer in 2 words appear in literature in this form, and it will start talking about its training data basically. But we wanted to follow human instruction. We wanted to do align. Alignment is like, this is what is called alignment in literature or in industry. I'm taking an example of Llama 3 because it's an open source model available from Meta. But Llama 3, you can think it's very similar to ChatGPT. So to do this, we invented certain other approaches. We did a first step of pre-training, but we now do a more supervised fine-tuning, SFT. This is where we tell it to follow certain kind of instructions. Now you can use SFT for many use cases. We'll talk a little bit next. But this was a more important magic which created ChatGPT, and that's when it overpowered and reached so many people. There are certain other methods also to do this, which I'll also introduce. Now let us take a look at what is the problem here. Right? So for example, this same model, if we tell it to, why do we need alignment, right? So if you tell it to explain artificial intelligence to a 6-year-old kid, you can tell it to do that, or you can write a few lines on happiness, right? If we tell you to do these kind of things, it will create something, but it will not look very good. Like it cannot explain AI to 6-year-old kid yet, because it's not trained to follow instructions. It's not trained to follow like human intention. We knew this, it's not able to do this, but it took us some time to fix that, how to make it follow these things, right? So for example, when I'm giving it a prompt, and this is a GPT-2 model, a very large variant of GPT-2 model. Let's wait it for some time to explain AI to a 6-year-old kid. And also it starts talking about, the first thing you will notice that AI doesn't understand what it's doing. It can only guess at things like what colors are those flowers. So it's actually taking the context of the training data and is able to find most similar prompt for this, like the training data predicting the next probabilities, but it's not able to answer the question which we wanted it to answer. Or when I tell it to write a few lines on happiness, let us see what it does, right? So it's saying the first thing I want to write down is the come up when someone say I'm happy. It's not easy, but it can be done. So it actually is talking coherently. It's following grammar. It's generating coherent sentences, but it's not answering the main question for us. So this is the main problem with ChatGPT solved. That even though GPT-2, these models could generate sentences, if they were still not chatbots, they were still not able to follow our intention or alignment, right? But let me also kind of move forward with a few other things to tell you that why this was very important. So this SFT process is the bread and butter of very, very big companies. So their entire products are powered by SFT. For example, the Llama variant which Meta created, it is an alignment of model, like it's aligned. Llama 3 is aligned variant in the sense that we can actually use it like a chatbot and do amazing things with it. Llama 3 paper has more details, but it's an autoregressive transformer, the autoregressive model which we were talking about. It predicts next tokens. There are many different model variants, like complexity of models, they release different ones. There's a 405 billion parameter models, 80B, 70B, 405B, like different variants. I will today play with the 8B model to just give you an example in a notebook. But other variants are also used by industry a lot. They do require GPUs to run on. And then the maximum context length, it means that how many past input tokens can model take a look at it. So during training time, we take care of in different processes in succession. We start training oftentimes with smaller context and we grow it, and this is the maximum context which Meta trained it. It's 128K, 1,28,000, you can say. It's a very big context length. And tokenizer BP is a similar tokenizer, very similar to what GPT I was showing you, that it breaks it down to small numbers or subtext and map it to numbers. This notebook I have already opened, so the Llama 3 notebook, and let me show you. It's the same process. This models usage is extremely easy for us. Like so let's go to the Llama. So this LLM of Llama. To use this, we have to install some libraries which I already installed. Like I just did it before this lecture started. So we can easily use it on the cloud. But finally, this variant of the model is open source, available from Google, from Meta. Llama 3.18b. There is 72b and 405b variant also available. Let us take the 8 billion parameter. Now, to give you a context, 8 billion parameters is amazingly complex model. For example, human brain has roughly 80 billion neurons, 70 to 80 billion. So this is not that small, in the sense that we are talking now billions of parameter space. Okay. Now I'm going to quantize this model. The reason is that it's still a very big model to be loading on a free tier of Google Colab. This is a free GPU which we are using online. I hope you get access to the notebook, so later you can play with it also with me. Here I am putting my token for you all to use, but later on you should log into Hugging Face and create your token, like create your account and get access to the token. You can easily do this. So loading this model takes some time. I already loaded it for us. It takes roughly 2 to 3 minutes to load this model. We are going to download a very big model, right? Let us download the tokenizer again. So like every model has a tokenizer, we need to convert it into tokens like this words. Output is again very similar to what I showed you in the GPT-2. It is very same process. You give model the past input tokens and tell it to output the next token. There are a few other parameters set, but they are like not that important. Now let us tell it to explain AI to a 6-year-old kid. Like the same question which GPT-2 could not answer very well. Here the process is again the same. Like what you see here, the numbers are actually outputs from the model. So output of the model is also again numbers like the tokens. I'm telling you to output 100 tokens into the future. That's what this model is doing. Let us map it back. Let me run this again out here. Running it will take like few seconds because it's a very big model. And it's going to do like 100 forward inferences for us. So yeah, the output is here for us. But now it will do a slightly better job. It's a Llama model, it's a fine-tuned variant, so it will say that, okay, explain AI to a 6-year-old kid. AI is like having a super smart robot friend. It can help us with a lot of things. Imagine you have a toy box full of different toys and you want to find the right ball. You can do this manually one by one, or take a long time, or that's where AI comes in. So it's kind of creating interesting examples, answering these questions. Now in these models, we did something more interesting. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the slides, but we defined a proper way to give input and outputs. Like there's a chat template defined in these models. It's not just predicting the next probability. We are able to tell these models that what are you and what you have to do, and this is what is my question. Like that you tell the chat GPT, right? You are an expert teacher, you are a doctor, those kind of things. That's defined using chat templates. For example, we tell it the system context and user context. So system is like we tell it what are you, and user is what is my question, now answer that question. We are able to now go again tokenize these things, and we can use these models. Earlier example I was showing you above was using them as GPT-2. There also it is doing amazing things. But once you define these templates that you are a helpful teacher who is helping students to learn, right? And then we are telling it, and now explain AI to a 6-year-old kid. The same question, but now you see it will answer in very well way that it will say, oh boy, let's talk about it. It explains like virtual assistant, game tools, robots, self-driving cars, chatbots. A very simple example to explain it to a very small student, right? It's able to do this now because its chat templates SFT has been done. I will show you a little bit later how we do SFT also through a working example. But this kind of gives you a very good idea that these models are very powerful. They're as good as any other paid company product. And you can actually use these things in your research for free. They are open source available. Not very hard to use in your notebooks. Let's say again try that you are a teacher, and then what's gravity? We are telling you to do that for us. Let's run it. Again, will take few seconds to run, but let me also show you a few things. So these models, these things like these are extra tokens which are happening: beginning of text, ending of text, header, systems. We'll little bit take a look at them in the next few slides. But these are the extra tokens which are telling you to define the chat template. These tokens tell it to also help to tell it this is what you need to do. You need to write your code. You need to output in JSON. All of these things can be done. Okay, so it's finished, like it's explaining gravity and going into fundamental things, right? If you can tell it, oh, you are a plant pathologist, explain me a disease, all those things it can do, whatever you can tell it. ChatGPT, these models are actually very smart and able to do it. You are spotting human emotions, explain happiness, all these things. So to give you an idea. Let's move further with the lecture. So Llama 3 is very powerful model. It is aligned. Now it's able to solve the problems which we saw in the GPT-2. GPT-3 is not like ChatGPT and GPT-3 are not open source. So I took an open source model to explain it to you that aligned model can do these things. The Quen model is from Alibaba. It is another amazingly very good model. It can do amazing things like the same way. I have a Quen notebook open to just show you another example of Quen. That's a notebook which I already ran, but I want to show you an amazing example here that the same way to run it, that it can do the same thing as storyteller, write a story, it can do all these things like very well. But this is where these models can do even more powerful things. So for example, you can use this model to create student graders. This is how many of the companies do it. They fine tune it also, but at a high level, the approach remains the same. You tell it you're a helpful teacher, it's a very smart prompt. You tell it that your goal is to grade students from a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give you student responses and then include feedback and whatnot. And give it the question. This is what the question you want to run. All the things like student 1 answer, student 2 answer, right? So this is like a practical use case, and Quen model actually can follow instructions, can do these amazing things for us. Question, student responses, and what is the goal through system probe, and we can ask it to run. I've already ran it, so it will tell you that it will grade student on different like 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Also we give feedback why it's 5 because okay that it touches aspects of gravity, but it's not able to explain or lack depths. And second question is a good definition, and third is probably better definition. So this gives you an idea that these models, the aligned variants of these models are amazingly powerful. They are open source available, and amazing things can be done with this. Okay. The DeepSeek R1, which created a lot of hype, like this another notebook. I'll just like open it to show that it works, but will not run the notebook. It takes like few minutes to run it, 4 or 5 minutes. Let the notebook open. So DeepSeek R1 is actually as good as this is a DeepSeek 14 billion parameter model. This is as good as over mini model which ChatGPT makes for free. Like if you look at different benchmarks and comparison, you see that it's actually as good as, or even the coding one, it's as good as the over mini. Same process to use this model, like if you want to use it in your research, like this model is open source available. And I'm quantizing it here because it's quite a big model to load into a simpler notebook. So we're quantizing it, and even quantized variant is very good. Let's go down, and I actually want to show you the same example. But now when you create a student graded system with the reasoning model, this is even more powerful model. The same thing that what is photosynthesis, and we're asking it to like answer it, right? Now this model will go into much deeper thing, like it will start reasoning about the things, and finally it will give us the answer, but a lot of very powerful reasoning that what is missing with different students. And finally, it grades them. The student 1 should get 4 out of 10, student should get 7 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. So feedback comes in the end, but you will see that deeper reasoning it goes through to answer these things. That's why like these reasoning models are even more powerful than aligned models, variant of basic aligned models. I hope this gives a little bit of picture around the capabilities of these ones. Let's move more forward. So one thing which I want to show, which are important things in here, is like tokenization has evolved over time. So we started with English tokenizers. Now we are at a stage where we are creating tokenizers which can tokenize, for example, in Hindi, in North Indian languages, in South Indian languages, in Punjabi, or like in Telugu. It can do the tokenizations in many of these languages. GPT-2 tokenizer could not do that, but over the time we have kind of created more and more powerful tokenizers. Let's kind of take a look at the tokenization notebook. What has changed? Tokenization has gone through a lot of things, but I want to actually show you just a simple example. It's a Llama tokenizer versus a GPT-2 tokenizer. So when you give it an English sentence, right, I love to see the sunset, do you? And we tell it to tokenize. That's like how it maps it to the number space. And this mapping, and if you reverse back this mapping, we get the same like. So there's no lossage of text here. There's no loss of information, basically. We can map it back. If you give it to GPT-2, it also does the same thing because GPT-2 has a very perfect English tokenization. But like suppose if I give it a Hindi mix, like live ka safar zindagi, like all this Hindi mixture. Now GPT-2, when it map it back, it like question mark, because it could not map it back. It still cannot understand multilingual stuff. So that's why when all these models we try to use it in different languages, they just do garbage because their tokenization is broken. They're not trained on these things. But Llama 1 was one of the multivariate models. So if you give it a Llama with a mixed sentence, we'll see that we can reverse back these things. It still cannot reverse back, say, Punjabi. Like it's not trained on many languages, but it's trained on, say, Hindi, English, and few others. So that's what these numbers have meaning. But many times these numbers are just question mark because those meanings are not existing and these models cannot work yet. But let's take about another very interesting example. Python coding, right? So when we started with these models in GPT-2 and all, the Python has a powerful indentation, like these extra spaces have meaning, right? But GPT-2 didn't understood this. So that's why it's not a very good coder. If you give it this Python code and tell it to tokenize, right? You will see that each of these space has a different token. So it doesn't understand that these spaces actually have more powerful meaning. But if you give it to Llama, right? Llama actually understands this one. So it combines these spaces. This tokenization process actually tells a lot about the model, that what it can do, what it cannot do. Because it combines spaces, it understands that this indentation is more powerful. It's a Python language. So it can actually, it's a better coder than GPT-4, you can understand. I hope this gives a little bit flavor that these things are not isolation. All of this process has to be thought through well whenever we kind of are creating these systems. Let's move further into some more interesting examples. So understanding this tokenization evolution is like important over time. So supervised fine-tuning is actually the core part which most of the companies and smart startups and everyone is doing today, which creates these use cases, very powerful use cases. For example, like Perplexity, if you look at online in the blogs, right? So Perplexity actually are fine-tuning variants of say Mistral and Llama 2. Like this was a little bit earlier blogs. So modern, they most probably have changed more models, but they will fine-tune these variants. And these variants of the fine-tuned models are actually very powerful. Like we can fine-tune these models using supervised fine-tuning, and we can create a very coding expert, a reasoning expert, a question answering expert, or a content generation expert. So whatever problem you have, you can actually use similar kind of data set to fine-tune and solve your questions. For example, Grammarly, many audience people might be aware of Grammarly, where it find examples or fix your grammar problems, or give you good examples that how to fix grammar problems. It has like a feature called Coordinate. Like on the blog, if you read about these things, you will see the Grammarly is also fine-tuned. It uses a pre-trained like FLAN-T5 backbone. It's a T5 backbone variant, like 3 billion parameter model, 11 billion parameter model. It's different variants. They fine-tuned this variant and they created a different coordinated models for themselves, which are actually able to fix the grammar issues. This is what we also did. Like we fine-tuned a variant of open source model and created Dracaris, which is actually better than like GPT or coding benchmarks. And if you look online, like at Abacus, which is like where I was working with the team, it's like built on a fine-tuned variant of Coan 2 and Llama 3.170B. These are the models which are fine-tuned. So how to fine-tune, right? So I'll show you a working fine-tuning notebook today to give a little bit idea of what is happening. So why we need to do fine-tuning? The like open source model will work for us, but on many benchmarks, like you will see, you get accuracy of say 80%, like I'll show you here. But in real industry use case, when you are using it in production, we want accuracy say 90%. We are not satisfied with 80. So that's where you want to squeeze that last 10% using fine-tuning. So these LLMs are general experts. You are creating an expert, say doctor. You are creating expert farmer. You are creating expert, say news classifier. You are creating expert email writer. So that's what the fine-tuning has to be done. So this Quen 270 fine-tuning notebook works and one. It takes more time to train. It roughly will take 30 minutes or so to fine-tune on this smaller data set which is there in the notebook. Let me show you the goal of this notebook. So for example, in this one I'm going to create a news classifier. So it's a bit more things here. I'll little bit in the end of the lecture share a list of reading like which I have created, so you can get more understanding of how these things are done. A very nice helpful tutorial for you to follow. Today let me focus on the most important part, like what is going to happen in this notebook. So we're going to take the news article data, which is a real data set, and our goal is to classify news into word, sport, business, or sci-fi type, like 4 different classes. Now, like any LLM can do this, ChatGPT can do this. If you take an LLM and run it on this one, so this is how the news look like. These are real news articles. Brave Thompson, this is probably some news article on the sore muscle, this is some news article on the sports. There's some Turkish men taken hostage in Iraq. There's some news article on the world politics and so on. These are real news articles. So they're quite complex, written by real persons. We are taking a Quen model. It's a very powerful model. We are going to fine-tune this model. Fine-tuning again involves the same steps. We have to define the system role, user role, the labeling process. Like any ML fine-tuning problem, we need X and Y. So this is X part of the problem, input data, and the Y are the labels, like labels which are a little bit to show on how we create them. But if you take the model Quen open source and run this one, we'll see that we get around 83% accuracy if you don't fine-tune it. 83% is reasonable accuracy. This model is giving us out of box. But we need it to be much better because we are not satisfied with 83. So that's where we train it on a subset of the data which is similar to the one which we are going to test it later on in different settings. So let me go further to just the training part. So if we train it like training means that now we are going to change some model layers in this one. Changing model layer is hard. It's a very big model. So we are going to change very small subset of models, and we're going to change some projection layers. So this model is quite big. It's a 7 billion parameter model. We're going to change only a few thousands of parameters, and that are enough for this model to make these all amazing things. Okay, this is called LoRa. Without going into details of LoRa, you can think about this as we are going to change very small part of the model. Okay. Now let's if you run this one, you will see that it takes roughly 38 minutes to fine tune. For a real industry use case, we often fine tune it for 24 hours, 2 days to 7 days, like 1 week, because we have very larger data sets. I'm here only fine tuning it for a very small data set. Now, once you fine tune it and let us test on another part of the data, like test data is separate. Now we see that once it's fine tuned, we see we get around 93% accuracy. Here the predictions are only when it's making a mistake. So from 80 to 93, we can easily get with a very small data in 1 to 2 days of fine tuning, and that's what most of the companies and startups are doing, like Perplexity is doing or Grammarly is doing. They take the open source variant of the model. They have very smart data sets, which often they invest a lot of effort to create. But this is something you can also do. You can create a farming data set, a doctor data set, a real university data set of whatever use cases you have in mind. And run this model to kind of create these amazing numbers. Okay. So I hope this will give a good flavor. This like notebook works end to end, which you can actually play with at your end. So let us take the last few minutes to look at some more interesting things and what I didn't cover in. So in the notebooks, you will see something called chat template, which I little bit introduced. But chat templates are ways to define input-output for the model. So these are the ways we can tell a model you are a chat bot, you are a virtual agent, you are a conversation agent, right? And they help the model to learn also, so we use them during training time. And they also help the model during inference time. Also, model understand the context and respond accordingly. Or model knows that it needs to output JSON or code or whatever. So these chat templates are something which actually were one of the very good novel additions in ChatGPT, and then we trained in this. Alignment was done using these, and that's like what led to the revolution of chatbots. So there are some role indicators, message context, special tokens are added for this one. Okay. So all the frameworks of fine tuning are implemented, or alignment strategies. They actually particularly use these things during training and inference stages. One last question. So how do we collect all this data, SFT data? So whenever, for example, you're using ChatGPT, it often gives you two choices and tell you to select what is the best one, right? So that's like a OpenAI is collecting your data. So this data has to either come from humans write responses. It's very hard. So this is the fundamental problem which industry faces, like how to solve this. This is the main question. So a lot of open source data set available, but oftentimes when you're going to run something of your own, we need to kind of solve this issue. So it's harder to make humans write entire responses. That's why we don't tell them to write entire responses. We tell them to rate it, which is better. So this is where instead of SFT, we have also started using DPO, differential private preference optimization. DPO paper I have cited here, but this actually is like where. Okay, so this is most likely my last slide. I'm not going into details of the DPO to conclude it within the time I have. But this I'll end it here in the frame that whatever like you kind of are going to do, like with fine tuning or all these things, the most easy way is either we get the data in the form of responses, or we get which is the better one, like what OpenAI does, which is the better response. That's what they internally now use for DPO for fine tuning. Okay, let me stop here. This is actually the conclusion of like this 1 hour of lecture, mostly starting with the basics of LLMs and everything. Last one, I'll just end that I also coordinate like our AI excellence programs where we have students from many different cities. We run practical AI courses online, and these courses are most of the students are free to enroll and learn. So you are most welcome to check this out also. I will share like this is like the ending of the lecture, and here I can stop and take the questions from the audience if there are like some open questions.
Good morning, sir. Sir, what is the accuracy? Sir, what is the accuracy of
Can
six,
you
sir?
please repeat the question? I think I didn't understood.
What is the accuracy of deep six, sir? That is my question.
What is the accuracy of DeepSeek? That is the question.
Yes.
So the accuracy depends on the benchmark. Like on the MMLU, I was showing you that it is on many different benchmarks. It's as good as OpenAI's models. On an MMLU, it's better than human experts. But if you can pick a benchmark and you will see that accuracy changes on different benchmarks. Like what is accuracy on a reasoning benchmark? What is accuracy say on a question answering benchmark, or in a mathematical benchmark, or on a STEM or a focus benchmark? So it's different accuracies, but it's reaching a stage where it's becoming as good as human experts. So I will put link in the channel of link in the chat. So many of the notebooks that I showed you today, there's a YouTube channel where you will see that there's a small 2-3 minute video link to the notebooks. I just put the link in the chat. Then the video down has comments on the notebook and also explaining how to run it. So if you're interested to fine tune many of these models to see how the tokenizers work, you can check out this 2-3 minutes video. Then that will give access to the notebooks and many things to try it out on your own. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights and enlightening session. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So let's take a 10 minutes break before we resume to the next session. Please be back on time for the smooth execution. Thank you. Students, please sit back.
No, just wait.
He has published.
Yeah, definitely. So we want your comfortability.
Have a good session, mostly second session. I will be thankful for the people happy with this. Can I? Now I am very much confident. Okay. Yeah. Today I wanted to speak about what are the research. Most of the people, those who they will be in the dilemma which area and which topic to be selected. For me personally, it took around 2.5 years in 2009 to identify the problem itself. I took 2.5 years. At that time, we don't have any chat GPT. We have guides, but they are not in the helping condition. Okay. Now in this next 1 hour, I will be taking hands-on. Okay. I'm not teaching any ML. I'm not teaching anything, but I will. If you are really aspirant in PhD, next. Okay. Then I will show you. With your permission, can I have? Yeah. Please. Yeah, my talk consisting of, I will discuss about what is data, various sources of data, for doing research in NLP, and finally, mostly, I may not take case study. Actually, case studies will be in the coming sessions. Already I have given ML pre-processing techniques, supervised learning, unsupervised learning. I will do on hands-on. Do your research as per your choice. Okay? Circles. So, Turkey professor may talk about what is artificial intelligence and machine learning. I don't want to repeat the same content. Okay? Please. Yeah. Whenever you discuss about machine learning, always we'll discuss about regression, classification, clustering, and reinforcement learning. Amma, if the students are not interested, you can please. I have taken sessions for 1,000 students also, please. I need some pin drop silence, please. Now, what are the various kinds of classification techniques are there? In clustering and 3 to 4 algorithms and regression. But while doing research, you selecting a problem, there is not that. If you see scikit-learn library, decision making. Now the decision making can increase the revenue of the organization. This is the purpose why we are writing ML and data science applications. Okay. Now what data we must concentrate? Data may be available in the form of documentation, MS Word document, Notepad document, MS File IO, and it may be PDF documents. Or the data may be available in the form of CSV formats or TSV formats. Both are available in spreadsheets, .XLSX. And whenever you go to websites, most of the data is available in the form of HTML data. Basically, HTML purpose is to display the content. But apart from HTML, since 20 years I'm working on XML data. If you people are working in web technologies, web programming, where we store the data in the form of XML, where we will write our own custom tags. But the structure of XML is difficult to understand. The XML documents has a little bit tougher structure. So slowly we are moving from XML to JSON. Stands for JavaScript Object Notation, where we will represent the data in the form of key and value pairs. Key and value pairs. Now, parsing the data, I'm using a technical term called parsing. Parsing the data on JSON is very easy comparing with other languages, other containers. So, next one is the data may be available in the form of Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, or Python supported file called SQLite. And transactional data, if some people are working on transactional data like one-day bank transaction, supermarket transaction, stock market transactions, or log files, or we have to extract data from various sensors. Maybe ECE people, they can extract data from various sensors, and you can do ML techniques. Now, what I have done for my research, in our Gokraju campus, we have solar, 330 kV solars are there. Every day we are going to take the data and we are comparing with sun iridium. We published some papers on that. Then social media data nowadays, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, we can collect the data. Finally, the data may be available in the form of image format, audio format, video format. These are the various data we can consider for research. Now, next point is, now various sources for data research. Most of the students knows that the first resource, everyone will go for Kaggle. Kaggle has hundreds and thousands of problem statements and data sets. I will share this, people, don't worry. It is free of cost. Okay, I'll share my documents to everyone. I am not a creator, I am not a god. I will share whatever I know, whatever I have. Okay, some of your faculty knows about me. Okay, don't worry, you will get everything. Now, first resource what we will do is called as Kaggle. Okay, Kaggle has hundreds of problems and solutions, and you can select any one problem. There are some competitions are there. There are some archival data sets are there. One. Second one is Government of India also has some website data.gov.in where you have 6 lakhs plus data sets are available. Data.gov.in in various domains. All 28 states data along with all central government data is available in the form of CSV, in the form of XML, in the form of other formats. Okay. So, third one, UCA Machine Learning Repository is also one of the website, and KD Nuggets is also one of the best website. For some people who wants to work on proteins and other areas, NCBI is also one of the best websites. Now, there are, if you want to work with NLP, there are some websites are available. I showcase each and everything in few minutes. Okay, so instead of speaking in this way, I would like to do hands-on. Please, if you permit me, I'll take the laptop and I will do by myself. Okay. Some of our results. Who will validate for that? Now, I am going to showcase few websites. They will validate your work. I show you now. If you want to get first class information, see, they have also to study. Okay, related work. That means everything they are giving. Can't you